Good afternoon. Thank you, Professor Beeling, or whoever, for the introduction, and thank you to all of to you all for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm honored to be speaking to you today on behalf of the UVA Accelerated Master's Program Class of 2018. I'll be making my comments short and sweet since it's hot. We all have a lot of celebrating to do, and I have a growler with my name on it. I'm sure some of y'all do too, Professor Chair. Just so you know, anybody who knows me well, I'm a list guy. I have to write whatever's going on up here, or else I'll lose it. So I'm looking at a checklist right now I found by Googling how to write a good graduation speech, and I promise to hit as much as I can. All right, we already hit one. A lofty sounding yet applicable quote from Mr. Jefferson, if possible. A reference to a well-liked teacher, check with Professor Scherer. Some forced and not so good attempts at humor, self-deprecating if possible. A reference to cooperate to graduate, or something similarly cliche. A witty story or anecdote relating to the theme of the speech, embellished as needed, must be at least 20% true. And finally, plenty of thank yous. Don't forget your wife. If I leave anything out, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Except you, Caroline. If I do, I really am sorry. Today I want to talk to you briefly on a couple things. First, the unique benefits of the cohort learning model, and secondly, the importance of continuous lifelong learning. I had the pleasure of serving in the greatest fighting force on the planet, the United States Army. I was trusted with the great responsibility of leading America's sons and daughters as an Army officer, and was able to extend that responsibility to the combat zone of Afghanistan. For those things, I'm proud. I transitioned out of the Army and found an opportunity to work as an engineer at Canton, Virginia, a manufacturing facility in Hampton Roads, where I was born and raised. We're close to home, family and friends. However, there are many things I miss about the Army. Cliche alert, but I absolutely miss the camaraderie. The way we built teams through the miserable and good times alike. I don't know if you can ever truly replicate those things anywhere else. However, this program and the cohort came pretty darn close. Thankfully, less dirt and more food. And I mean way more food. I know the cohort model isn't universally used, so I promised Professor Beeling I would keep this part short. But I have to mention it as it is one of the most significant strengths of this experience. For anyone who doesn't know, the Accelerated Master's Program, or AMP, is a one-year Master's of Engineering program for working professionals. It uses the cohort learning model, which keeps a small group together from start to finish. We met for a solid week in residence at the beginning and again at the end of the year, and then every other week in between for 8 to 12 hours a day. Not to mention all the homework and TA sessions, but it was 1 year ago today, actually. I showed up to Darden Inn after convincing my work, my wife, family, myself, that this was the school and the program for me. I had no idea what to expect, honestly. Our cohort was much smaller, but I think that has some hidden benefits. It was interesting to see the system dynamics and the emergent behaviors that came from that. We come from different industries, cultural, economic, political, generational, tag, backgrounds. We spent much of our lives reaffirming our own opinions through different successes in our educational and work backgrounds. So coming together in an experience like our capstone event a few weeks ago, locked in a study room, preparing a presentation for a real-world client on a deadline, you get some friction, learning opportunities, whatever you want to call it, and learn we did. If you have the opportunity to use or implement this learning model, I recommend it. Next, I work in a Japanese manufacturing facility. We have Japanese phrases plastered all over the walls, kind of like the motivational posters you see around the school here. One of the words that is very important there is kaizen. It's a term that means gradual, unending improvement by doing little things better and setting and achieving increasingly higher standards. The Kaizen approach is usually implemented as a small, intensive event or project over a relatively short duration. Sounds pretty familiar. This summarizes our past year pretty darn accurately. I'd argue, though, that the key word in here is unending. My high school technical drawing teacher told us the last day of classes, something to the effect, this is the 20% embellishment piece. Big whoop, you're graduating, who cares, nothing to celebrate. Well, hopefully you've learned something in the past 4 years that we can help you on your first day of the real world. Good luck. My initial thought was, wow, what a jerk. And well, you know, it's a big whoop for me, so I'm celebrating anyway. I did. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But after reflecting on it more, I agree with the idea. I agree with the idea of continued learning. Graduating from high school, undergrad, graduate, or earning a PhD are important milestones, but that's all it is. It shouldn't be the goal. The goal is taking the skills and applying them to making and improving new things. We should strive to continue challenging ourselves, whether it means further formal education, certifications, training, reading, on-the-job learning, whatever it is. Here's a quote. Confucius said, "Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance." The degree conferred to me today serves as two things. One, it's a high five, showing what we've done up to this point. And two, more importantly, a reminder of the vast extent of my own ignorance. I think the idea that UVA was originally centered around the library, and the fact that Thomas Jefferson didn't originally plan to confer degrees or diplomas support this idea of lifelong learning. All right, couple quick thank yous. First, to the past alumni who make this degree so prestigious and honored. Thank you for always endeavoring to uphold the prestige, honor, and highest esprit de corps of this institution. To the faculty and staff who support us through daily operation and behind-the-scenes tasks which allow us to focus on our education, thank you. To the amazing world-class professors who provide us with instruction, evoke thought and discussion, what you do is an art, and you have been great artists. The trials and tribulations you so graciously afforded us make being here in the Darting Court special and feel well-deserved. To the TAs for translating whatever the professors were saying, behind-the-scenes assistants, and your patience, thank you. To my peers for the motivation when it was needed and the commiseration when it was needed, thank you. I'll always treasure the relationships and bonds we developed. To our family and friends, your constant pushing, encouragement, and support freed us to focus on our mission, our continued education. A very special thank you to Beth Harrison. She's not here today. It's clear without her, this program would come to a grinding halt. Her support, coordination, and patience with us as our program den mother was exceptional in every way, so thank you to her. Finally, I regret missing the opportunity to thank my family, especially my wife. She has demonstrated exceptional patience and intestinal fortitude in my absence this past year, specifically and throughout our marriage in general. Thank you for volunteering as my wife, fully knowing the hazards of your chosen profession. You have shouldered more than your share of the task, whatever it was, 100% and then some. You have led the way and we reached our objective. Thank you. The future for this department, the program, and its alumni is bright. In fact, I believe the next AMP cohort is showing up in a few hours to the end of Darden, and the summer session starts tomorrow. Glad we're not them, right? It went quick. Finally, summarize, they say you only really take away from an experience the peak or most interesting part and the very last bit. So I'll help you with that. The peak was that really awesome joke about AMP overfeeding us. The last bit is this. Continue improving yourself until the day you die. Then, we as graduates of this department are now better prepared to ply our trade wherever we go and whatever circumstances we find ourselves. All right, list, quote, check. Teacher reference, Professor Sherrod, thanks, check. Bad humor, definitely check. Cliches, minimize and check. Anecdote, we'll round up, check. Thank yous, check. Thank you, beat Navy, beat Tech. Congratulations and good luck.